Happy New Year! Dale the Librarian here. This is going to be the first, maybe in a series. Let's see how this goes. But as I work with students, staff, and faculty in person, working in classes, or working via email, or negotiating with groups of people studying things, I come across a lot of little bits and pieces about AI. So this is Dale the Librarian's AI Notes from Library Land. This is the highlights of my past maybe 2 or 3 months of things that have shown up. So, Unstuck Study AI, it's very new for me. The case of the undead citations and how you can look out for those, and a library guide for workshops, which I'll probably post on every video just to get that promoted. Okay, so Unstuck Study AI, Dr. Coco James from the LEAP program told me about this, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to dig into this. And if you go out looking, Unstuck AI and study, it's hard to find anything about it. So I don't know if it's used for good or for evil, but be that as it may, your students might be using this tool. So here's an assignment that I made for a library class. I'm embedded in a class where they're doing research on social sciences related stuff. So I said, in your assignment that you're doing for your class, I'd like you to find 2 articles, cite them correctly, give me a quote, probably from like the abstract or the first page, and then put it in your own words. That doesn't sound too bad. But if I got stuck on this and I don't understand the assignment, how do I get unstuck? Well, if you go to Unstuck AI, it's free. There's like an add-on moment where you have to pay money, but I just used the free version. I uploaded that document, which is sitting right here, and then I can engage with that document, and I can ask it questions like, how do I do this assignment? And apparently it can look at YouTube videos, and it can look at like a whole bunch of different things, but it's only analyzing that text. I imagine in ChatGPT or Gemini, you could just dump it in there and ask the same question. I got a different answer in the last one. This assignment aims to deepen your understanding of how technology interacts with societal issues, particularly focusing on homelessness. Well, it didn't give me the assignment. Start by, well, okay, here it boils down the instructions. That's kind of cool. Your results may vary, and it's different every time that I did this. If students are confused by an assignment, this might be something you could run through. I don't know what some of the other things are that you can do with this. In the advertising for it, it said you could take a recording of a lecture and put it in here, and it would churn through and give you the main points. So beware. This is something that's going on. It might be worth digging around in. It's kind of fun. For what it's worth, I always find those AI things. Okay, next thing. The case of the undead citations. There are citation generators out there, or not citation generators, but AI, that are spitting out fake citations. I don't know if this is ChatGPT or Gemini or one of the other ones, but it's taking legitimate things like Vangelisti and Crumley. They're real authors in communication research. So are Kirk and LaRussa. Having said that, this journal, so I had a student, they weren't like, they were putting in a good faith effort. The student came and they said, Dale, you taught me how to find things. And I looked up the title in the library catalog and I couldn't find it. Can you help me find these? These look really good. So they weren't trying to cheat or be unethical. They were actually trying to find these things. And I looked and I was just like, well, darn, the authors exist. The journal exists, and eventually I had to go to the journal itself. And while 48 and 2 exist, this pagination, there's no article there. It's in between articles, and I was like, whoa, this is fabricated. And I looked up this one, it's fabricated too. The big tell for me that I'm asking students to follow through with as a result of this is I need a DOI, I need a document object identifier. All the articles that are generated should have those. So here's a DOI from an article that I found. If you go to the open web and you put in that DOI, magically it should dump you right into that article. This takes just a second. So for my students from here onward, I'm going to say, if you don't put in the DOI, I'm going to triple check the articles that you put in. And if you do put in a DOI, it'll be easy for me to click on it and go and legitimize it. And then explain to them, sometimes from the AI, maybe from the open web, it generates these, and they're total hogwash, and it's wrong. And summarily, I put into my grading rubric, you'll get an F, but you'll get a chance to redo this if I find you using these. So far, I haven't had that happen. I just had one student come forward. Lastly, I call those, the reason I call it the undead citations is because they took pieces of other ones and they made this a non-living Frankenstein of a citation. Okay, lastly, if you go to the Merit Library and you go to the research guides, I imagine you could do this at Eccles and Law and Music Library as well. If you search for AI, you're going to find this guide where the library leaders in this, Luke Leiter and Thomas T.J. Farrell, are putting together a bunch of different AI resources. Having said that, there's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle, and there's a lot of people working on this, so this is not a clearinghouse for everything. But do know that there are workshops that that are held under these contexts regularly, and so you can look for those. If you go to Exploring AI Library Sessions, you can see a list and you can see a blog of upcoming sessions. This has been Dale, and I love to hear your tips and tricks and things going on with AI in your classroom too, and then I can share them out in this manner. Thanks for watching.